Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, Dr. Rose. We are excited to have you here live with us.
Good afternoon, Stella, and everyone out there. It's going to be an exciting hour together. Thank you for
It
inviting me.
it is. It is always exciting when you come on board, Dr. Rose, and you're talking about it because you have such a passion for health, such a passion for people's period to live a healthy and strong life. That is really your calling. And you are so gifted. And anybody, I just wanted to introduce you, Dr. Rose Lepien. She is the founder and the doctor at the Aragon Chiropractor Clinic, and I will send out some information about it. So you're more than welcome to connect with her. And today, as we are listening, you will talk about the power of the nervous system.
I sure.
But
That's my,
before we start talking about it, tell us a little bit about you and how you end up on this amazing road to help others to live a healthy life.
God is awesome. In spite of ourselves, sometimes He just sends us in the directions that we have no clue. Sometimes He puts talents in us that we know right from the start. That's what I want to do the rest of my life. But sometimes He peels it off like an onion, and then He helps us find our destiny. So I came from Germany. I was born and raised in Germany on a farm, and I learned the basics of God and nature and the principles and God's word through my mother in church. And I was indoctrinated that, God is everywhere. And if we live according to His will and follow His ways, then our lives can be really beautiful. And
Yes.
yeah, I came to the United States on an exchange student program when I was 19. And then I came back when I was 22, and I was married and had a son. And as I was living in Illinois, I was wanting to go to work because that's all I've ever known. You got to work to be worth something and to be happy. So my mother-in-law said, "Well, why don't you go apply down there at this chiropractic office?" And I said, "What's a chiropractor?" Yes, it was a totally brand new word to me, but I went,
Yes.
applied, and I got hired on the spot. And that's when God helped me find my destiny. And that was 48 years ago.
That is phenomenal. And I mean, you truly are gifted. I mean, every person who went to you or is going to you, like myself and my family, we are a part of the Aragon Chiropractor family. But every person you come in contact with, Dr. Rose, it's not just they are coming into your practice, you are adjusting them and send them out, but you are truly are making sure that you're finding the root cause of from the nerve pinches to the muscles, the inflammation, and you are targeting the root cause and you're helping to bring the body back in alignment that they can be healthy. So tell us a little bit about that part.
Well, the nervous system, which, chiropractors are actually nerve doctors. Some people think we're doctors because we have to work on and with all the other structures in order to make a difference. But when we do so, we affect the nervous system. And the nervous system, each one of you has one, is the master system that controls all other systems in your body. Like the electricity controls everything in your house. So if something out there is an issue somewhere, you find the issue to correct the issue, and the energy comes back on. And the same with
Yes.
and the body. So by chiropractors finding out where the interference is from your brain, that's your multi-million-dollar computer, runs down the spine and exits at many different places to go into your head, down into your eyes, ears, nose, down the arms, into the chest, to all the internal organs. The nervous system controls your cardiovascular system, your lungs, your reproductive system, your digestive system. It just controls it all. And that's why
It's incredible.
me, when we find the cause of people's issues, then we remove the cause, we eliminate the cause through adjustments, we take x-rays, we send them out for MRIs if needed, we do very specific exams, and then we treat. And what's so exciting to me is we treat body, mind, and spirit.
Mm,
Energy that affects the whole body. And we're not
that's right.
specialists, we treat the entire body. So when we go to work, we never know what kind of benefits and beautiful results or even miracles can happen when we adjust a patient.
So I heard about the miracles. I heard a couple of the miracles, but tell us about the little baby because that is just absolutely stunning how the nervous system and adjustment really helped this little baby. So tell us about that.
Well, that's my biggest miracle story in all my 48 years in chiropractic. You know, we have patients
Yeah.
that are 100 years old. They still have spine and need help. And then we have little tiny babies. Many mothers ask me to come and adjust their babies after being born because it is a difficult process to go through the birth canal. But
Yeah.
it was shortly after. Now, I've been a doctor for 30 years, but I've been working in this field 15 additional years. But I was a doctor maybe for a couple of years, and I had this young lady as a patient that came in with her little son, and they both got treated and adjusted, and she was pregnant. So I help a lot of women through their pregnancy with getting them adjusted, keeping the nervous system at their maximum capacity so they can be healthy and the babies can be healthy. Well, I didn't see this particular patient, for a couple months. And one day we were really busy here. She comes walking into the waiting room. She didn't have an appointment. And she brings with her her little boy that I was already familiar with and a set of twins. And the little boy that she was carrying, one of the twins was a boy, and the other one was a girl. The girl was just happy looking around. They were about 2 months old. So she sees me coming out in the waiting room to greet her, and all she does is take this little 2 months old baby boy and sticks him right there under my face. And she says, "Here, Dr. Rose, do something." Well, what
Mm.
happened? She said they were both born the same way naturally, and the girl is just fine. She's eating, she's happy, she's smiling. But the little boy, they claim, had a stroke at birth. And
Wow.
like this, his head was hanging over to the side. He was pretty much non-responsive. His tongue was hanging out, and he's just basically lifeless. And she
Mm.
told me to put him in an institution, and I just can't do that. Can't you help me? And I said,
Mm.
wow, you don't see too many in that bad shape. And luckily, my late husband had passed away from a stroke, and I was very familiar with stroke symptoms and how it happens. And I knew right from the start this little boy did not have a stroke, which was I was very grateful for. And I asked her about the birth process, and I said a prayer right there and then. I said, Lord, it's easier to work in adults. You can ask questions, you can do specific exams, you can take x-rays. But with a lifeless little child like that, and Lord, well, adjust his nervous system. And right there and then, which happens often, he had damage done to the upper part of his cervical spine, where C1, 2, and 3, all the nerves go to the brain, the eyes, the ears, the nose. They are responsible for your breathing, and it's just a super important area up there. And
Mhm.
when they took his head and twisted it and pulled him out of the birth canal, they did some damage to that area.
Wow.
We went back in the exam room, and I checked him out, and he didn't care what I was doing. He really wasn't present all that much.
Wow.
And I said another prayer, and then I went to work. I found some places between his shoulders that were really tight and didn't feel right. But primarily, I laid him on his back, and I started going to work. I have I have cameras in my fingers because
Yes.
it gives me all
This is the gift.
gift of healing. Yes. And I started working on his little neck very gently and a little range of motion. And sent the mother home. She called me up that evening and she said, he opened his eyes and looked at me and he was aware of me. And we every day for maybe a week or two. And every day we saw great improvement. He started eating. He could hold,
Oh my God.
and he started breathing much better. And then he started sleeping through the night. And within 2 weeks, that little boy had his life back. And I knew
Oh,
without chiropractic care, he would have died, and that mother would have been sorrowful all her life. And
that's
those
right.
are the miracles that's the power of the nervous system. When you release the interference and the everything the body needs for healing, the innate intelligence, which is God's power, actually is inside. And if you release that interference and let that flow and express itself like it's meant to be, then the body can be healthy. And that's the
Mm.
thing that I see every day with different people. But when you see something that powerful and that drastic and such a beautiful change, you just want to keep doing it and doing it because that's what people need.
Yes. So, are you able to go also into hospitals and do adjustment if the patients request it,
Well,
or they have to come to you?
they come to us. Chiropractors are primary care physicians. They can choose to
Mhm.
chiropractor. We are signed up with all the insurance companies and contracted with them. So we do not need to go through the medical system. However, I have through the years had some patients that ended up in a hospital. For instance, when you have a problem with your rib cage, it can mimic a heart attack. So I've had
Mm.
patients that had chest pain and couldn't breathe, went to the hospital, they got checked out, and they couldn't find anything wrong. And
Wow.
call me up and they say, Dr. Rose, I'm stuck in a hospital. I know now that I have a rib out because I was raking in the yard or I was reaching for something or I was laying the wrong way for a while. Can you please come and adjust me so I can go home? Now, that's the only time I have gone to hospitals to adjust, and that's happened several times. And
Mhm.
when the patient requests I come up, I go up and I that's a gift. My,
And
yeah, because if they
yes,
out
I
every
have a lady, Stephanie, was asking about what about people's with migraines?
yeah,
Because migraine, it's a part of the nervous system, the blood vessels.
actually, chiropractic is one of the most successful remedies for people with migraines. So when people come in and they have migraines, of course, we do an exam. I do an extensive consultation. When did they start? How long have you had them? Do they come when you ovulate? When your menstrual cycle comes? Is your blood sugar low? That can cause migraines. Do you sleep on your stomach where you maybe rotate your head all night long? That the upper neck, again, C1, 2, and 3, goes up into the head, controls a lot of the vertebral artery blood supply to the head and the nerves that go up there. And 95% of all patients with migraines successfully get well by us treating. I treat the neck and I do work with the skull. I do trigger point work. And we sometimes need to do neck traction if there may be some degenerative discs. We combine it with massage and adjustments and tractions, whatever it takes to first we find out what's at the bottom of it. So that's patient, examine x-rays, and then we go to work and apply whatever needs to be done to change the cause. I love
Mhm.
it because there's cause and effect in life.
That's right.
In nature, there's cause and effect. And whoever said that when you have a migraine that you need to take a bunch of pills to cover up the symptoms? To me,
That's right.
it's asinine. Why would we cover up a symptom that God gives us, which could be pain, tingling, numbness, burning, spasms, or other symptoms like chest pain or menstrual cycle issues or sciatica, any kind of symptoms that people may have. If we can trace them down to the cause, and it could be they're drinking too many sodas, or they're having a very poor diet, they're not getting enough sleep, or they're so much under stress that the body's starting to shut down. Whatever it is together, we can get to the bottom of it. And
I love it.
that to me is to such a gift to me and to the people because that empowers them to take a look at their life. They can't
That's right.
we can't just live the way we want to live and then run to a doctor and say, here's my symptom, fix it. We can
Mhm.
put it together and find the cause and they can make a change and I can help them along the way and together they can have a better quality of life.
That's right. So, Stephanie, I believe that was a great answer, Dr. Rose, because I know I suffered a lot with migraine attacks. I had the ocular migraine, and it is so uncomfortable because sometimes 70, 80% of the vision is distorted. So I could not see, but like you said, I mean, for me, I came for months, twice a week, and then I went to once a week. To you. And so it's now we got my body back in alignment and I'm coming for maintaining because it is very important because I'm sitting all day and I am not active as I need to be. So I know that for me personally, it helped tremendously with headaches, migraines, and just my physical energy. You gave me my energy back.
Well, that's so important. Without energy, we don't go very far. It's like going somewhere with an empty gas tank.
Yes.
The energy is put into our body by God. So we have the spiritual energy, and we have the nerve energy, the natural energy coming together. And someday when we die, it's that energy that leaves the body and leaves the body lifeless. So take good care of your energy, because that's what life is really all about, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we don't care how long we live, but we want to have a good quality life while we are on this earth.
Mhm. Stephanie was saying that her daughter has to take off from work because of the migraine attack. So I believe, Stephanie, get in contact with Arrogant Chiropractic, and the phone number is 580-353-6776, and get her in. Get her in into Dr. Rose and do a checkup. And they are taking insurance. So it is really phenomenal. And Miss Jeannie was asking that she needs an appointment and she has Medicare. I noticed they do take Medicare as well.
Yes, Medicare covers 30 chiropractic adjustments a year, and that's a blessing.
Yes.
We do not cover much else, but we always can work around that. We do give a cash discount for people, like Medicare patients get 50% off on their exam, or we can send them out to Reynolds if they have TRICARE to get the x-rays, which then they will pay for it. So we can work with each individual person and their situation to make things come out good for them.
I know it is a blessing. My husband, and I always tell this story because you are such an amazing, strong lady. So when I started out coming to Dr. Rose and the Arrogant Chiropractic Clinic, and then my husband said, "Well, I'm not sure. I'm a big, heavy guy, so I'm not sure if Dr. Rose really can adjust me." So he was hesitant, but because he saw the results in me, he said, "Okay, I want to try it." And my daughters, they are coming to you as well. And so he came home and said, "Babe, Dr. Rose is so strong. She had no problem adjusting me, and I feel so good. And anytime he is out of alignment, I don't even have to mention to him because he's automatically coming to Dr. Rose to get adjustment."
Once people know the difference. I've had people say, well, I've heard that once you start with a chiropractor, you're going to have to go all your life. And I say, well, that's an interesting statement, but look at it this way. Once you realize how good of a quality of life you can have and how healthy you can be through adjustments, then you want to get occasional adjustments the rest of your life so you can keep that level of health.
That's right. And that's why even the insurances, like you said, they cover 30 or more adjustment a year because they even recognize how vital it is for
Yeah.
the body to be in alignment.
Yeah. And we
Yeah,
check.
and not only that you are doing adjustment, but you are also having supplements. Those who lacking supplements or minerals, you have it right there at your office.
We do. And, I go into it with people doing the consultation. I ask them what blood type they are. And especially if they're a little bit overweight, then they're very toxic and they hurt. And so if they tell me that they're drinking 6 diet sodas a day, or they're eating donuts for breakfast, and we're going into the diet, then I realize people are so overfed and undernourished. And we can talk to them about that. Now, we either change our diet and get the fruits and vegetables and salads like Stella. She is the model example of being disciplined in what she puts in her body. Or
Not all the time.
yeah, water, the
I
way
wish I would.
out there. Fresh water, the way Mother Nature, the gardens produce fruits, vegetables, salads, nuts and seeds, eggs, lean meats, some fish and chicken and some beef along the way, depending on what blood type people are. And we talk about those things. And I can empower you to make the proper choices so you can get into your body the proper fuel to be less toxic, to be less inflamed. Poor makes people super inflamed, especially the sodas. It destroys the oils that lubricate the joints, and they become much more arthritic. They have more pain, less lubrication, more friction, and more degeneration in the joints. So once they realize that, they happily make a change. But then if the people don't make changes and they need additional healing, or instead of eating properly, then they buy the vitamins uh, along with it so they can at least get the nutrition that they need. Because
Mhm.
the body's designed like a car. You got to put the right gas in the car so you can get to your destination. You put the
That's right.
in there, you're going to get stuck somewhere, and you're going to need some help. So again, empowering people to make good choices about
Yes.
their
So
body.
I have a friend of mine just recently. She's dealing with fibromyalgia,
Yeah.
but lately she started to be in tremendous pain in her bone and joints, and they are swollen. What you recommend for those?
That's getting to be more common today. Fibromyalgia is actually arthritis of the soft tissue and the muscles, where the toxicity, your kidneys and your liver are designed to filter the blood, take out all the toxins, and eliminate them. And if that doesn't happen, then people become more toxic. And when they become toxic, then it either settles in the joints, it settles into the bone, they become arthritic, or in this case, they may have inflammatory arthritis such as rheumatoid, Reiter syndrome, Jersey syndrome. There's all kinds of names that are being put with inflammatory arthritises or just degenerative arthritises. And what we want to realize is that you actually have power in order to make some change there as well. Again, look at your diet. Secondly, look at the stress that is in your life, because
Mhm.
stress increases in our lives, it affects the entire body. It helps the body to produce more cortisol, and everything gets stored in the body and becomes more degenerative and more inflamed. So it's like
Mm.
a domino effect. One thing leads to another, leads to another. So getting the right diet, drinking the right liquids, getting sleep, learning to deal with the stresses in our lives. And you know what? The
Mm.
definition about stress that I've ever heard is stress can be caused by anything that you wish was different.
Right,
Good.
right.
There's so much going on in our lives, especially now with this
Hmm.
on top of everybody's else's, everybody's normal daily stresses with family,
Hmm.
themselves, with their health, with their bosses, with people in their lives. That
Right.
that if you grasp the stressors in your life, sit down and pray about it. Say, Lord, show me, what is it in my life that's stressing me out? What am I running away from?
Mm.
That really resonates with a lot of people. Is stress is like
Absolutely.
you can bury a stick and you can bury a can, but you can't bury a worm. I
Mm.
worms in your life and address
That
them,
is good.
find them, look them in the eye, eliminate them, get some help to work with that so you can live peacefully, keep the stress down, and have a happier, healthier body.
That is awesome. That is so good. I never thought about it. You can bury the stick and the cane, but you cannot bury the worm. That is really good, Dr. Rose. This is I will remember that anytime stress wanna come in my life, it's like, okay, it's a worm. Let's get rid of it. Let's not burying it. Also, I know you're familiar on the Power of the Word group. We've been praying for this little girl, Casey, and she is, like I say, she's been from Comanche Hospital to the OU Children. Now she's in Cook's Children's Hospital in Dallas. It's like nobody can see the cause. She have stroke symptoms. She having seizures. She's not acting herself. It's what can we from the nervous system side? Is there anything that they can do?
Yeah, I've been following that story, and the first
Yeah.
time I saw that, it just, I got the message very strong. Has anyone checked her spine? People with upper cervical, upper neck, right underneath the base of the skull can have epileptic seizures. The MS is very prominent if the nerve roots are being strangled up there. The headaches, for instance, sinus
She's
problems.
having migraine headaches. Yeah.
Yes, and so if they have checked her and not found any cause, especially
Mhm.
brain. Now tell me again how this started. She was out on the field. playing?
So yes, so she is a softball player, and they had practice. And 2 hours, 3 hours after the practice, she had chest pain and back pain, and she's still complaining until this day from chest pain and back pain. And then after this, she coded. She couldn't breathe. She coded, performed the CPR on her. And at the hospital, she had seizures after seizures. She couldn't remember her name, her age. I mean, it was just really psychological, almost like a stroke that took place, seems like it. But her mom was mentioning that a game prior to the practice, she got hit with a ball on the head.
Oh, okay.
And
I was going to
so
about that.
because they did MRI, they did CAT scan, they did the spinal tab, they checked for tumors, they checked for inflammation, they checked for everything. And until this day, everybody is like, we don't know. So when you mention about this little baby, it's just something is, like I say, inside of me, like, what if she just need adjustment?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. First time I heard about her, the continuation of her symptoms without them finding any cause, that she should be checked chiropractically. I would be glad to check her. I know I've taken care of some very severe cases through the years, and I've seen miracles happen. If that's
Yeah.
the reason, then I would not be afraid to work with her and
Mhm.
get her life back.
Absolutely. Well, I will definitely get them in contact with you, Dr. Rose, because
Sure.
when you mention, especially about this baby, and
Yes.
when you mention, as you're talking, you see, I'm learning more as you was talking about epileptic and seizures and certain one and how it's all in connected. The migraines. It's just instantly I clicked. Nobody really have maybe checked this girl concerning that.
Hmm.
So I will definitely get them. Thank you so much, Dr. Rose.
Really?
Is there anything you is in your heart you'd like to share with us?
Oh, I got lots of things in my heart.
Right.
Uh, maybe let's talk a little bit about fear. There's
Okay.
so much fear in this world, and I bet anybody that's watching has their own level of fear and anxiety and worry. What's going to happen? Why is this happening? How is this going to affect me? What's my future going to be like? How are people going to treat me? Am I going to be able to speak my piece with my family members, with my friends, without getting criticized or put down because it may be different from theirs? With the vaccine, and this is a huge issue. It's almost like an evil presence in our life, and
Mm-hmm.
choose every day to realize that God is love, and
Yes.
love will cast out all fear. It's the only
Hallelujah.
thing that combats fear, because fear actually means false evidence appearing real. It's
That's right.
that's present in our life, but you can't really get your hands on it. It's like a slippery eel, and
Mm.
it affects our nervous system, it affects our minds, our hearts, our emotions. And if we do not put a stop to that and use God's word as our guide, you know, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness first, and
Yes.
everything will fall in place. Get out of that box of fear. I have this wonderful story. How much time do we have,
Oh,
Stella?
you're good. You go for it.
We were talking about that the other day, and the first thing God ever spoke to me that I was consciously aware of when I was taking a nap one day, and I was in my early 20s, this voice spoke to me very loud and clear, and it said, "If you don't want it to be, don't think it." And I remember
Mm,
thinking, well, of course not. Why would anybody ever think something that they don't want to be? And as I
that's right.
was traveling through life, and almost every day in our lives, it's like stuff enters our minds, and fear is one of the big ones that makes us think, oh my, this is gonna, what's this outcome gonna be? Or what is this gonna do to me? And we go down a track with our thoughts that are not conducive to our spiritual, emotional, or physical well being. And
Yes.
that we really grasp a hold of what we think, because what
Mm,
we think is what we speak, and what we
yes.
speak is what we do. And what we do develops our character, and our character determines our destiny. So,
Yes.
what we all have is, I call it the garden of minds. You know,
I love it.
being raised on a farm, you plant a garden and then you get the fruit of what you plant. And you
Yeah.
realize, if I didn't want this kind of fruit, I should have planted something different. And the same
Mhm.
mind. And then I learned that we must put gatekeepers on our mind, like on a garden, to be
Mhm.
what comes in, what thoughts come in, and what thoughts we allow to get planted and have fruit in our lives. And nobody can do that for us besides each one of us ourselves. So become
That's awesome.
part of the garden of your mind and only allow things in there that you want to happen in your life, and
Mhm.
throw out the rest. The devil
That's
wants
right.
the seeds of deception and fear and hate and resentment and gossip and all those things that are not from God. He wants
Mm.
them in the garden of our minds. Then they come out of our mouth and people gossip. People talk about the bad things and what if this is going to happen. And so
Mm.
still there's all this negativity. And so I would like to empower each and every one of you today.
Mm.
I'm the gatekeeper of what you allow to happen in your mind. Thought Thoughts never stop. So we have to become choosy as to what we allow into our hearts and in our minds and in our lives. And then fear will have absolutely no power over you. But
That is so awesome. So it's basically taking every thought captive.
yes, ma'am. And the Bible talks about that, right?
That's right. That's right. Oh, I love that. I love to even thinking about how you are the own gardener of your thought life, of your mind. That is powerful, Dr. Rose.
You know,
So
God
we need to do a seminar, a class about this.
said that. I've
I
tried
think this will be phenomenal.
spoken on that topic very often, and I just love it because we all need it so much.
That's right. And
Yeah,
this is so true. And sometimes we think that we have so many bombarding thoughts. And I know for my own self, sometimes a thought just running, the negative one, wanna rapidly run in our thoughts. But when I stop and it's like, okay, what I'm thinking about it. And if I'm purposeful, think about what I am thinking on or what I'm thinking about, I'm like, no, this is not the truth. That's when I like, okay, I write it out sometimes that way to get it out of me and then I can see it like, no, that's not the truth. What is the truth behind it? What the word says about it? What I need to pray about it? And I love the scripture verse in Philippians, the fourth chapter, where it say, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving make your requests knowing to God, and the peace of God that passeth all understanding shall guard our minds and hearts through him. And I love that because those negative thoughts is worrisome and ancient thoughts. And as we are casting it to the Lord and we pray about it, and like you said, we are the gardeners of our minds. I love that analysis. So we need to have a class about it. You know we will.
that I would love that very much. But those are all
Yeah.
things that every human being has to battle with. And God says He will give us the wisdom and the love to battle those things. He gives us the tools, but we have to let go. We have to learn. This is what really helped me through time. Learn to live in the moment. Because if you put
Mm.
all your energy into this present moment, everything is fine in this present moment.
Yes.
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is still a mystery. But today, this very moment is the present. And it's also
Mm.
from God, because God said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, because sufficient unto the evil is, and to fish, but
Yes, yes.
sufficient unto to the day is the evil thereof."
The evil of, that's right.
Own problems, but come and live in the moment. And something
Yes.
shows up when if something really bothers you, look it in the eye. Don't run away from it. Don't get so busy that you run all day long, 10 hours a day, so you don't have time to deal with the issues.
Mm.
In the eye and acknowledge what bothers you. Acknowledge
I love it.
acknowledge that you're concerned about your children, and then go to God and let Him know that, and He will give you the answers.
That's right. I love it. I love you so much, Dr. Rose. And I
Yes.
am so happy to have you on this year's Thrive Conference.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you are one of our phenomenal speakers on this year's Thrive Conference. And I am really excited to have you on board. But I'm so excited to learn more about life and taking our lives back and truly be fearless because our this year's topic is being fearless. And I think all of us on the stage, we really will be imparting, empowering ladies how to get out of the current mud that we can say they are in, or the current hopelessness they are in, and dream again, and be fearless again, and thrive again. So I am so thankful and honored to have you on the Thrive conference this year, Dr. Rose.
I'm so excited. I went there 2 years ago, and the Lord told me, "You're going to be up on that stage next year." And I was last year, and now this year. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And I'm just going to go up and share from the heart because I
Yeah,
know what I need. I know what people need. I know what God wants people to know and to hear to transform their lives back to where He wants it to be, to get
that's right.
their box of fear, their box of despair. People are so afraid to
Yeah,
live the fullness of life because they're afraid to die, because of
I
the,
know it.
they're so programmed and we're being manipulated. This is very heavy today.
It is, but we are bringing new light, new life, new hope back, right? And that's what I love about you, Dr. Rose. Every time, there was not one time that I saw you in your practice, private, in any conference, in any meetings we had, in gatherings, that you had anything negative to say, or you was down, depressed. I never saw you down. And it's like this lady walks on water all the time.
I choose. It's a choice. Like they say, happiness is a choice. You can wake up in the morning and find many reasons to be unhappy for this particular day, but you can choose to be happy because the kingdom of heaven comes from within and happiness comes from within. And if we have the right words in our hearts and in our minds, then we
Yes,
can make those choices and have the power to overcome all the things in our physical life. Yes.
that's right. That's right. Well, Dr. Rose, thank you so much for being a part of this amazing chat this we had and talk about the nervous system and our bodies and overcoming fear. Just so much. You're amazing. Ladies, I just wanted to encourage you, and gentlemen, because some gentlemen tuned in as well. I just wanted to encourage you. Take your life back, take your health back. And sometimes we need those alignments. We need those help assisting our physical body. Go call Arrogant Chiropractor. Go and schedule your appointment with Dr. Rose. You will not be disappointed. She's definitely a godsend. She is gifted and she has a servant heart, not just for this community, but for everywhere you go. It's got people's drawing to you because you are gifted and anointed and God within you. They're drawing to the God that is within you, Dr. Rose. And ladies and gentlemen, I already put out the Arrogant Chiropractic address, and it is 1201 West Go Boulevard here in Lawton, Oklahoma. And the phone number again is 580-353-6776. Call, get you scheduled. They're taking all the insurances and get your life back. Right, Dr. Rose?
Thank you, Stella. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And
That's
I
fine.
care, and everybody needs to be cared for. And I'll be here for you if I can help you in any way. And thank you, Stella, for your being such a bright light in this community. And you walk around just putting little lights on everybody's heads you meet and in everybody's hearts. And we are servants for the Lord, and He works through us in our families in this community. So very honored to continue serving. After all those many years, I'm still excited about being able to change people's lives. And
I
thank you
know.
for having me on today. I love it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And we will have, keep tuned in at the Fully Loaded Women's Organization website, which is fullyloadedwomen.org. and we will have all the updates with Dr. Mars. We will have classes. I know we will talk about the garden of our mind. That is something I think truly we need. So just ladies and gentlemen, just stay tuned in, get your tickets. Aragon Chiropractor is even selling the tickets for the Thrive Conference, and we have Salt Cellar and online, and get your tickets. And we see you next Thursday again at 12 o'clock here on the Fully Loaded live chat. And thank you so much, Dr. Rose. We love you much, and you have a blessed rest of your afternoon.
God loves you. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And bye-bye.